Man. Hey, hold up a second, y'all. Look. Y'all can hear me, right? We back? Hey, they kicked me all the way off, bruh. They kicked me all the way off. And here I am. I thought nobody would be listening this time of night. But I forgot that they 3 hours back. Yeah, no, they kicked me all the way off. Like usually they will shake up the stream. But nah, they kicked me all the way off right there. But I'm surprised I'm back. I'm gonna be real. I'm surprised that happened. it been times where they kick me offline. I can't come back in. That's crazy. They got mad at something I was saying. What was I saying, y'all? What was I saying? Oh, and what the fuck? Hold on. I don't know how I missed this, Miss Harris. How did I miss this? It just popped up on my side now. Miss Harris donated. Man, listen, Miss Harris. Hold up, Miss Harris.
It's up.
I appreciate that, sister. I appreciate that. That's a big donation right there. Fire. How did I miss that? I'm just, my notifications wasn't working or something right here. Yeah, this part 2, we back in here again. Hold up, Tavon, thank you for being a member for 23 months of the road. He said the real Africans are the Africans. Yeah, man, like Afrikaners, Afrikaans is the language that they spoke. The Afri tribe ain't nothing but Dutch people. They know what's up. They done came out and said something already and agreed. Mahogany Trucks, been a member for 6 months in a row. I appreciate that. Said I'm in my 50s and this is hitting harder than Chicago when the Hawk. Hey man, I appreciate that. Blue Dreamer, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. As always, you said, hold up. Oh, you said something. I intend our people rise above all. Need you stand up.
Set it on fire.
It's go time, Slim.
John Bottom, thank you for subscribing. Look, y'all, look, I know, man. They basically messed the stream out, and I don't know where I was, y'all. Y'all remember what I was saying that they got mad at? Nah, they took it off. They took the whole stream off. They shut it all the way off. And I waited for a minute, kept refreshing. And then they just didn't allow me to come back in. And I was waiting, see if I could come back in. And then, yeah, I was able to come back in here. It just took a little minute. Marvel, right. Yeah, I was talking about that. A lot of the superheroes that they created as cartoon characters were referring to our people as far as it could be their psychic powers, it could be their logos, it could be what they're representing, as far as their wear, or it depends, because like I know some of y'all are already familiar with Black Panther, but like the certain powers that, you would say that's not realistic and your mindset can happen. Like when you speaking telepathically, like, Professor X and what was Jean was able to do that. People are able to do that. But they say that you got to knock one of your senses off in order for that to happen. Like you got to be damn near disabled in a certain part of your body in order for that to happen. I don't believe that. I believe that you just got to open up your mindset to the point where whatever you're doing is exercising your brain enough to use all of your brain. I believe there's people out here not using all of their brain. That's what I believe. Faith is all we need. Thank you for the super chat. You said they didn't like you putting their own, or they didn't like you putting up their own, they didn't like you putting their own up there, dogging them out. Oh, yeah. You talking about in that video. Absolutely, yeah. I don't know why I was reading that totally wrong. I appreciate that, and thank you for the super chat, but you absolutely correct. That could have been that, but I think it was, having to deal with, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it because we were on Marvel, but I was also bringing that part up. The reason why is because I was telling you, like, they were giving you the superheroes in different ways. They was giving it to you in the, at first it started off in stories in the books, like, but they were, they weren't well, I mean, I guess my people did like some of that, but I used to collect them. I was into that. I was into the artwork of it. I was into the storyline of it. I was into the reading of it. Like the comic books is really where they took off. My first comic book, if I didn't already say that, is my first comic book was the very first Punisher, the very first one, and then I went from there. I just got into all of that, and that's why I was glad they brought Spawn out. Like, I know y'all don't know about Spawn, but the guy that does the martial arts, Michael J. White, I believe that's his name, did an excellent job with Spawn, in my opinion. And I really think they should redo that and then put that out again. That was a very good, like, I mean, it was so many of them that they was like, our people don't know, bruh. And they were talking about our people. Yeah, that was right. Yeah, man, they giving us props in so many different ways, but I think the majority of our people need more representation out there. Like, because a lot of people are being, like, for example, when they try to say that there's an American person that actor or actress is playing, it'd be a lot of people from the UK playing as us. Whole time these people got accents, but they putting on an accent trying to act American. They picking up people from the UK and, and making them actors and actresses. Like, especially, so-called people of color. And our representation is disappearing again. That's why representation is so important. Miss Hers again, back in here again. Miss Hers, thank you, sister, with the 10 gifted. With the 10 gifted, I appreciate that, sister. Lancy Woody, thank you for the super chat. Lynn Ali, thank you for becoming a member. Romelio, thank you for the super chat. Science from Dragon Ball is based off of US and America, yeah. Oh, okay, from Dragon Ball. Like, I remember Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. Nah, I had to think about that for a second. Like, hold up. Because immediately I started thinking about all the anime. Yeah, Dragon Ball Z. Some storyline of Naruto. Some parts of that. Like, I know some of y'all gonna be like, well, Anunnaki, Dane, that's a whole different topic. But I know what you're saying. But the giants are real. The giants are here. The giants been here. They can't get rid of the giants. The giants been here. They're even on their own maps. Their old maps, yeah, the Super Saiyans, yeah, Saiyan from Dragon Ball, yeah. The old maps were showcasing on the map where the giants were located. The older maps that look like two binoculars. Look at that. I'm telling you, pull this up. They're gonna look like two binoculars. It's gonna be two circles. Yeah, the Airbender talked about us a lot. Yes, absolutely. The Airbender definitely talked about us a lot. Anime definitely dug into it. Them Chinese folk know what's up. But see, then again, don't forget that we also had melanated people out there as well that they I'm not trying to say that they worshipped, but they looked up to, like the original samurai. I'm talking about the Japanese. The Japanese know what's up. The original samurai was all melanated people. And matter of fact, they came out with a video game about this, y'all. Oh man, and I'm trying to think of the name of that video game now. And that video was that video game like that. And I only got a chance to play it a little bit. Damn it, bruh. Oh man, I'm trying to think of that. Hold on, it almost came to me. It started with an M. But it was based around a Japanese story about it's like the animality of the indigenous people there. Oh man, y'all, I'm trying to think of the name of the joint. I apologize for not knowing. Nah, it wasn't Attack on Titan, but yes, Attack on Titan is good too. That was another one. Nah, not Mortal Kombat. Not Mortal Kombat. It was, oh man, y'all. Hold up. Muka. It was the representation was a monkey. And I'm not trying to be funny. Oh man, this was recent. Nah, not Street Fighter. And it was one of them RPG games. Wuhan, right? Ain't that how you pronounce it? That's it right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's it. Yeah, look at the storyline, y'all. Look at the storyline of that game. That game like that low key. As far as that storyline, look at that storyline, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, damn, that was intriguing. Like I got to see bits and pieces right there, like right in a video game. And I was intrigued to learn more. Like I wanted to see where they was going with the game, but I also wanted to go look up more information. But they did pretty good. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to finish it though, but that was a good one. You got it on PlayStation 5? That was a good one. I heard a while ago that Chad was supposed to play the Black Samurai before he transitioned. Oh man, that would have been dope if he would have played a Black Samurai. We do need something like that though, like as far as a movie is concerned. That would be nice. That would be nice. That's Chinese folktale. Nah, that's Japanese. Right? I thought that was Japanese. It did begin with an M. Oh, no, it don't. It don't. No, I said that wrong. I meant to say W. Why I say M? Probably because I said moo. But you right, though. Yeah, it started with a W. I forgot. You know what I mean? Remember the Metal Gear old Nintendo game? Absolutely. What? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's Japanese. Like, they should bring back Afro Samurai. I just want to skip over that term Afro because it ain't no such thing, bro. Afro is a hairstyle. That's not a people. The only people that's closely related to that term Afro is the Afri tribe. And the Afri tribe was nothing but Dutch people. In Africa, they were all Dutch people. Kingdom of Dahomey. But they not trying to tell you the other side of it, huh? Thoth was known as a great Westerner in the Emerald Tablets. Thank you, Mahogany. Yeah, God of War is good too. Absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait for that to happen. I know something like that is gonna happen. But I like that. I'm not gonna lie. I like that term, Emerald Tablets. I like that. Just imagine you taking crystals and you making a tablet out of a crystal. Like you chipping it in a crystal, the story that you want to say. That'll look so good, bruh. Look up an anime called Yasuki. I may be mispronouncing that. Dressed as a Misty Knight for Halloween a few years ago. That's another thing that's getting ready to come up. But now this full moon, this is another reason why I'm just glad that this is happening. I'm trying to push out, more positive energy, especially right now when super moon is out, rather. Let me say it correctly. You know what I mean? Nah. We know Billy been doing this thing. Shout out to Billy. Yasuki was the first known African to appear in Japanese historical records. They hide the true Asiatics. I mean, some of them do, not all of them. Not all of them. Misty Knight from Luke Cage. I don't know what niggas, because who was Romans called African. Oh, the Bruce Lee movie, he looks almost black. Yeah, some people were saying that Bruce Lee was, sometimes he was trying to do that. We birthed the nation's mitochondria DNA. Infinite. Yeah, that's only found in the mother, though. Yep. Telling the pyramids and crystals be different at ancient times. What you said? What? Hold on. Able to see different time ages. Wait. Oh, you said they were telling us about the pyramids and crystals and being able to see different time angles here. Like, y'all think y'all ready for that, to be jumping through portals? Y'all think y'all ready for that? Like, I'm talking about your spirit. Like, you ready to accept like stuff like that? Like doing more than just walking on water. You going through portals. You could throw a coin in the air and then the portal open up. And you going through it like you Sonic and Knuckles. You scared to do that? They said Sonic came from a different planet. Same thing with Knuckles, right? They traveled there by portal, huh? How did everybody else get here? I'm talking about steamboats came later, 1800s. How everybody else? There wasn't no plane. I mean, they hiding something in Grand Canyon. They hiding something. Y'all know about the area that never gets sun? Y'all know about the areas in America where they say all you gotta do is look through the hole and you see a whole nother landmass underneath it? Caught it on camera? What about that? Yeah, a lot of people gonna say they came, they. Okay, remember the time period? Pun intended here, where they were talking about they were traveling in the 1800s by way of a time machine. Did y'all look that up? I should do a segment on that. But okay, let me give y'all a little hint, because they were trying to say that Abraham Lincoln did the same thing, that he traveled back in time. Have y'all heard of this yet? That Abraham Lincoln traveled back in time in order to stop the Civil War? Have y'all heard of that yet? Look, the only way you gonna hear about that is a particular book that I'm talking about, and I'm gonna just see if somebody caught that yet. I was just looking at the chat. Let me see who's some book readers out here. Look. That ain't Abraham Lincoln that we saw, right? That they trying to show us that's Abraham Lincoln? They trying to say that's Abraham Lincoln, right? Some of y'all may know better than that if you kept reading. Before it was Kentucky, it was Virginia, right? Before West Virginia, it was Virginia, right? Yeah. Oh, but he wanted to keep his son around, and his son was dead, but he wanted to keep the corpse around and have his son's corpse along with him, and they ride around in the train for everybody to see them days at a time in the hot sun. That wasn't funky in that junk? You spent all that money on that train for it to look all fabulous, but you got open bodies, open caskets, dead bodies, especially his sons. How are you able to withstand that smell? That ain't documented? They say, okay, because look, they said that that's what was happening. That's how they allowed people to see that Abraham Lincoln was gone. They had his body in a casket along with his sons in a casket, and everybody was able to see. The train will stop at particular towns that is going through, and everybody will have a chance to see that he died. Open casket, though. Open casket. It's crazy. I heard about the guy Trump related to. I believe his uncle or something from the 1800s. Now, what I say, okay, the reason why I brought all of this up is because a lot of the stories that we were told about some prominent people or prominent individuals that they were put out into the forefront for us to learn about year after year after year, especially when we were in school. And this is the reason why I hated history class. I always didn't like history class because it was always a repeated information, and I caught on to it by that time when I just kept reading, and brought it to my teacher's attention. I used to, stop the class, and I was interrupting the class. I was one of those students that had questions. Like, a lot of this stuff don't make sense. Why are you teaching it? You even know it don't make sense. Why teach this if it don't make sense? Why try to teach this as if this is the truth? This is right and exact. At this point, you're not teaching people, you're controlling people. You're trying to force them into believing that this shit is true that you came up with. I'm telling you, like, in order for you to know for a fact that you are owed everything, not just money, you got to realize what happened to your people all the way. Not just slavery and not just Jim Crow. Look at everything that happened to your people. All the way down to how they ended up taking or confiscating our lands and handing it to incoming foreigners damn near for free. And you were the ones that took care of the land. Now all of a sudden they cutting down the trees and building up buildings, and you can hardly breathe when you in certain cities. The environment is messed up due to all the frequency waves and radiation and everything clashing, and they doing all this manipulating the weather. Speaking of that, let me show y'all this. This was the CEO. Let me show y'all this. He was the CEO of a cloud seeding company out in Texas. And I believe the name of the company is called Rainmaker. Hold on, I gotta find it real quick. But he was talking about how what type of agent they spray into the air. But I also told y'all that they are doing this on purpose. Notice I said cloud seeding company. It's more than one cloud seeding company. They are literally manipulating the weather, but it's happening in every state. It's not just one. Hold on, let me play this for y'all. I want y'all to and that's just for Texas, by the way. But like, okay, I brought this up because I wanted people to understand that this is happening. And I remember there was a video that I did where I broke that. Hold on, let me see if I can find that real quick, because that's gonna piss me off. I want to play that video. Let me try to grab that real quick, because I was forewarning people what they were doing, and I tried to sneak it into one of my videos on, was it on Trump? I snuck it in one of my videos. Oh man, y'all. What was the name of that giant? Hold on, let me. It was hold on, not that one. I know it's in this folder, but I'm trying to think of the name of it. I'm trying to, or at least go by the thumbnail, because I want to play the right one. Okay, no, it's not this one. Okay, hold on. Let me check this one. Yeah, because it's like, I tried to throw it out there really quickly so people could catch on to what I was saying. And did I move it in here? Yeah, I think I did, didn't I? I did. Hold on, it's in this folder. Now I gotta see which one it is. It's one of these. I think it's this one. Let me double check. I think it's this one. I'm about to play this video just in case, because I think this is it. Let me see. In my previous videos about the ongoing story of the California wildfires, I shared information about right. So it was about the wildfires. And then let me make sure this was it. Yeah, this is it. All right, hold on. I'm gonna come back. Let me go right. I want to pick up where I stopped. Even the Los Angeles Fire Department has a different perspective on this issue, especially once they discovered hidden facilities underground housing thousands of lithium batteries that could cause warlike explosions if ignited. Yeah, because I don't want to skip.
We have found a underground lithium battery storage plant for bicycle batteries that has posed a huge hazard in that area. We are working with the hazmat teams to keep that contained. So a lot of that is just very dangerous. As you just heard, the air quality in some of that area is still very, very high and dangerous.
Wait. So let's consider why companies would house lithium batteries underground, given that California suffers from wildfires that could cause even more explosions and damage. California's government will be the only one who could approve these companies storing highly explosive items underground, because even they have an underground facility to escape to. Many people may not be aware of the underground tunnels beneath the streets of Los Angeles, California. Although 91 tunnels are reportedly abandoned, many believe some are still used for various purposes. For instance, specific tunnels connect various government buildings beneath the Los Angeles Civic Center. These tunnels are said to have been used for administrative purposes, allowing city and county employees to move between buildings without ever going above ground. Another notable example is the Hollywood tunnels, located just beneath busy Hollywood Boulevard. Celebrities use these tunnels to travel between theaters and studios without being seen by fans or paparazzi. Other underground tunnels are scattered throughout Los Angeles, particularly in the Bunker Hill area. These are rumored to have served as escape routes for government officials and the city's elite, who once owned private underground garages connected to them. And to refresh your memory, and some of you may not have known about this, before it was demolished in 1990 to cover up any evidence of wrongdoing, the children of the McMartin Preschool of Los Angeles, California, were allegedly subjected to horrific various forms of abuse in various locations underneath the facility. There were reported secret rooms throughout underground tunnels below the building, and I cannot share more details than that due to the sensitivity of this case that has since been closed for obvious reasons. Still, this former government agent investigated this matter, and I'll play some of his discoveries right now.
Arrested, by the way. We found a 9-foot wide subterranean entrance under the west wall of dog room. There were 4 classrooms. That was Ray Bucky's room. By the way, Virginia McMartin and Ray Bucky were tried. Virginia, the grandmother, was acquitted. Ray had a hung jury. And we found these tunnels in the middle of the second trial of Ray Bucky. They could have been used to convict him. We called the prosecutor. He sent his investigator out, Mr. Perez. Mr. Perez told me, I don't want you entering in my conversation with the archaeologist. I said, why? He says, you're too argumentative. And I said, well, okay, you go in and talk. I'll just keep my mouth shut. We went in, he talked, and he argued with the archaeologist. Here's an investigator not qualified to talk about tunnels. He said, there aren't any tunnels there, and the archaeologist, of course, argued. But anyway, they didn't use that evidence, strong evidence, in the second trial. They ignored it right in the middle of the second trial. I might mention this. The children identified professional football players, professional baseball players, household name actors, actresses, and the son of the leading politician, not a leading politician, the leading politician in Los Angeles as being perpetrators.
Now, that should sound familiar to all of you because of what Sean Combs is accused of doing. Doesn't it seem like more people should be in jail than just him? What if California's government burned parts of LA to bury evidence of others involved? Because, and I'm gonna slow this down, if you look closely, you might find that the rabbit hole goes much deeper than one may assume. I had to do my own censoring right there, but let me just pause it right here just in case I need to take a screenshot. Man. Let's not hope they watching, because we low on the we low key right now anyway. We should be good. We should be good. Let me keep going, because this wasn't even the point I was trying to make, but I ain't want to skip this. Keep in mind that this is the same government that is currently blaming the winds for the cause of these wildfires during the winter, when temperatures are nowhere near hazardous to potential wildfire risk. Oh, wait a minute. They will blame it on climate change as if California doesn't spend millions of dollars a year on cloud seeding, which is a glorified way of saying weather manipulation. Right, here we go. For example, the Santa Ana Watershed Project Authority is just one of many companies that California's government pays millions of dollars annually to allegedly increase its water supply through weather manipulation. But didn't they admit that they had no water in their reserves?
Yep. We ran out of water in the first tank at about 4:45 p.m. yesterday. We ran out of water in the second tank about 8:30 p.m. and the third tank about 3 a.m. this morning.
The LA Times is reporting a reservoir in the Palisades that holds 117 million gallons of water was offline this month for previously scheduled maintenance. It was empty when the Palisades fire exploded. This news is coming as Mayor Bass faced fierce criticism for being MIA as the fires broke out.
Think about that. Why would you, when you know wildfire, or whatever you want to call it, wildfire season, or what at the times when the temperatures are changing. When you know that is approaching, why would you leave your reserves empty and offline for maintenance?
Nowhere to be found either. Brian Williams was placed on leave for allegedly making a bomb threat against City Hall. On top of that, there are rumors of a feud between the Los Angeles Fire Department and Mayor's office after Chief Kristen Crowley said that the city let her agency down.
The Santa Ana Watershed Project Authority began cloud seeding in California in November 2023 and is scheduled to
put it all up.
continue.
This is my research. So, you know, I don't play. I be whatever I'm talking about, I'm gonna put it up, bro. I don't play. I'm gonna let you know.
This is also why California residents' skies used to look like this in 2022, but now they look like this in 2025. I won't bore you with the science behind this particular weather manipulation, which has been ongoing for well over 70 years now. However, I will say that this is why planes are in the skies more often than usual, spraying chemicals such as chaff, which is thin strips of aluminum, metallized glass fiber, and plastic. They also spray other chemicals like potassium iodide, liquid propane, and silver iodide mixed with acetone. These chemicals fall on grass, gardens, farms, water facilities, and food facilities across America.
Very important to know.
And also your skin. Many government officials claim that these chemicals are non-toxic, despite the lack of peer-reviewed studies about their short and long-term effects on humans. Could this also be another reason why these California wildfires started, in which California's government is still to blame?
Right.
Oh, I'm not finished yet. I'm just making sure that you can see everything one at a time, just in case, because everything is not a conspiracy, but not everything happens out of pure coincidence either.
Right. All right, hold on. Because I wanted to play something else. Yeah, I talked about the 5G towers as well. Hold on, but I wanted to play something else. This was recent. Blue, how recent was this one? Because speaking of the 5G towers and radiation, let me just play this. I want y'all to hear this.
Now to a News Nation exclusive investigation into a secret government experiment.
Wait, that's low on my side. Oh, that's all the way up. Let me put the booster on.
Now to a News Nation exclusive investigation into a secret government experiment that was carried out in St. Louis. Residents tell us they still remember a mysterious fog. Children would run through it. Mothers.
Remember the fog? Y'all remember this? And I pulled to the side. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because I pulled to the side a few things about the fog and I never got a chance to talk about it. But you know, okay, Blue said this was August 2025. So this was just last month that I'm playing right now. Hold on. But let me cue the rest of that up. Hold on, I'm gonna play this.
And close their windows against it. For decades, they all had questions, and now we're seeking answers. The United States Army now admits that it sprayed a chemical that contained cadmium, a known carcinogen, on a neighborhood of more than 10,000 people. Critics say this was done with no warning.
Stop. Wait. The buildings, listen,
would try
y'all.
and close their windows against it. For decades, they all had questions, and now we're seeking answers. The United States Army now admits that it sprayed a
renovation. Look at the pictures. Damn, they moving so quick.
For decades, they all had questions, and now we're seeking answers. The United States Army.
Okay. Oh, innovation district. This is gentrification. What they about to do? So they showing you the plan. They about to knock all this down and add this to it. This is gentrification in progress.
Now
Look,
admits that it's
they knocking buildings down. And look, that's the images that they showing for what she's talking about. At the same time,
a chemical that contained
they sprayed a chemical,
cadmium, and no
cadmium. And look, and we seeing a demolishing of old buildings, right? These look like project buildings, right?
On a neighborhood.
And then on a neighborhood, and look at the people in the neighborhood.
More than 10,000 people.
More than 10,000 people. Okay, and that's a person of color holding it, so-called person of color.
Critics say this was done with no.
And here go the critic. Look at the editing. Look at that.
No warning and no consent. Well, tonight we return to the site of that demolished neighborhood and speak with former residents who believe the government turned them into human test subjects. Although the Army admits that the test happened, it is not admitted to harming the residents. News Nation's Natasha Zuvez.
In other words, it don't matter. Your collateral damage. This is what I mean by we have to have our own governments. We have to have our own governments. We don't have any representation out here. This is the reason why our people are suffering into thinking that they have representation out here, and they don't. They seeking answers, and whole time we need to be the answer.
Investigates what was in the fog and why the truth may still be buried.
The fog drifted through the streets like a ghost.
That's exactly what it looked like, a thick fog.
It was summertime and it was hot. We would just run.
But keep in mind, we talking about fog. And they showing you pictures of buildings being demolished, y'all. And saying that a chemical was sprayed. Look at the imagery. And the neighbors are talking about a fog that came through. So it was almost as if they did the fog in certain areas so they couldn't see everything that was going on. The fog was to cover up what they were actually doing. Because why would the news show you buildings being demolished? Does that make logical sense? Y'all follow what I'm saying? The fog, yeah. No. The fog, period. So what I say? I hope I said fog, right? So they throw in the fog. I did say fog, right? They throw in the fog as a distraction. White smoke. Oh, man. I keep forgetting that. I'm on this. As soon as I pull up this old hard drive, I keep forgetting that, bro. I gotta get the other one. Got to. Every time I pull up this old hard drive, it take out my other hard drives. It take up too much power. No. That's not YouTube. That's on my side right there. I pulled up an old hard drive, and I got to remind myself that hard drive got to get moved to a different hard drive. I overfilled that hard drive, so it takes up a lot of power because I got 1, 2, 3. I got 3 more hard drives plugged up. So it messes up my it messes up everything that I got going on with other hard drives. Yeah, it's an older hard drive. Yeah, the old one. Mm-hmm. We should be good though, right? Yeah, we still good. It's just now certain effects of mine are out because my hard drive is out. So I'm not gonna be able to use effects right now. Let me double check.
Set it on fire, fire, fire,
Yeah, this-
fire, fire.
Hold up. I'm trying to, let me see if I could wake that hard drive up. I'm gonna play it at the same
fast as we
time.
could and try to just cool ourselves off. It stuck to you.
The spray was so foul as far as the odor. It made some of us have headaches.
Wait, let me hear what that guy said again. He said it, hold on, let me hear that one more time.
The fog drifted through the streets like a ghost.
That's exactly what it looked like, a thick fog.
It was summertime and it was hot. We would just run through it as fast as we could and try to just cool ourselves off. It stuck to you.
The spray was so foul as far as the odor. It made some of us have headaches, nausea, dizziness.
That's what I remember. It made me sick.
It wasn't the weather. It was an eerie smoke descending from rooftops, rolling from the backs of trucks.
Regular flatbed truck, but it had a big machine on the back. And it had a big nozzle that really sprayed a fog you couldn't even see through. It was that thick. And it really, we felt it as it would adhere to our skin. And as far as the guys on top of the buildings, they tried to portray them to us as maintenance workers. But we were like, what is a maintenance worker doing? And basically a hazmat suit. And they had masks and goggles.
In the 1950s and 60s, in secret, the U.S. Army sprayed zinc cadmium sulfide into the air of a St. Louis housing project, a largely black neighborhood called Pruitt-Igoe.
It was a lose-lose situation for us in Pruitt-Igoe. We were subjects. We were subjects.
They didn't ask for our permission. We didn't.
Nah, they don't. I'm gonna tell you right now, Elder. They don't need your permission. They sent their soldiers in there to do a job. Unfortunately, it's to our own people, but that just goes to show you that you can't trust this government. This is all the more reason why we need to have our own government. I keep stressing this issue. Right, this is just like the Tuskegee experiment. This is a lot of reason why a lot of our people be getting cancer and getting, a quick. And look at the neighbor. Look at the people that's talking, that's being interviewed. All elders. The majority of them are. They knocking out our generations of people on purpose. On purpose. The only way this stops is if we start taking back control of our own shit. The government is not going to help us when that's the government assigning the military to do this to them. You just got to know that.
For them to spray us. My government used me like I was a guinea pig.
We're standing at where Pruitt-Igoe used
your
to
government, Elder. That's not your government. Why would your government use you as a guinea pig? The government is not for you, Elder. The government is not for you. Never was, and historically, it never was.
here in St. Louis, and it's hard to believe more than 10,000 people used to live here. As we bring our drone up,
it's hard to, but listen to her. It's hard to believe more than 10,000 people lived here. Then she bring her drone
it's
up.
Mostly just an empty lot now, overgrown with trees. This used to be filled with 33 high-rise buildings. It was all demolished in 1976. And according to the National Research Council, St. Louis was chosen for spraying experiments because it had similar characteristics to Soviet targets.
And just note that it's a lot of our ancestors buried over here up underneath this debris. Yeah, I said I wasn't gonna get myself upset, but that part right there is not funny at all. Ain't none of this funny. This should not be happening consistently. They probably got this on the schedule. Every 5 to 10 years, they doing this shit. They said the last time it happened was 1976 or 73, but that could be bullshit. That's probably just that area. They probably hitting different areas, and St. Louis alone. That just so high. Like if I looked that up, and I should, because when I looked up Flint, for example, Flint wasn't the only one with dirty water. Remember my report on Flint? That was a long time ago, but it's still up on my channel. But Flint wasn't the only one that was hit. And that was nothing but our people. And they poisoned the water. See? We gotta, and this ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, it's not like I'm stating something wrong here. I'm telling the truth. These are some of the people that's watching right now. Their ancestors are buried up under this.
Targets like
This is
Moscow
real serious.
in terms of population density and terrain and proximity to a river. The government now admits to a
It's
secret
always in
series of
proximity
Cold
to a
War
river.
tests, including one dubbed Large Area Coverage. More than 30 tests conducted across the U.S. and Canada, spraying zinc cadmium sulfide from
Why is it so important to hit the areas near the water? Like, for example, Memphis, Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it so important? They always hitting areas that's near water. Because if you control the waterways, you control the land. Hawaii, Maui, Hawaii, California. Then all the areas that they flooded, right? Were hurricanes. Yeah, New Orleans. Look, y'all. And they do this on purpose all the time. And we need to do something about this. Like, this is the part that I'm talking about as far as unity is concerned. Like, I'm not here telling you which religion you need to be choosing. You're not going to ever hear that come out of my mouth. I'm telling you, look, this is what happened to our people historically, and a lot of this stuff is still ongoing because our people don't know about their history. And they are purposely getting our people sick, purposely removing our people that don't want to move. Keep in mind, they just gathered up this type of, technology in order for it to work at a large scale recently. Okay? Recently. Let's start at 1900s for the chemicals to go everywhere. Right? Let's start at the 1900s. Prior to that, we still outnumber them though. We still outnumber them. All the more reason why we could do this. This is not impossible. You cannot continue to allow this enemy to win these battles. It's time to end the battle fighting by winning the war. You have to step up. U.S. admits to 30 plus secret Cold War tests. Using our people as guinea pigs. What you think the industry is doing to our people? Using our people as guinea pigs. What you think the entertainment industry is doing? Using our people as guinea pigs. Science, any field, any expertise. A lot of these ideas came from our people, stolen. They ran to the Not the copyright. Well, yeah, the copyright office and the patent office, and hurried up and patent the idea that you had. They try and be your buddy. You got to rub shoulders with them in order to get money. They controlling the money. Another dye chemical. It's a dye on a piece of paper, a chemical that was used. And I showed you. Shout out to Tanisha, shout out to my wife. She showed y'all that was basically what we had indigenously. We had the dyes, we had the chemicals before any of them. They were coming to America for that. That was the number one reason why they were coming over here to trade with us. And now they're using it against us. And when I said 1900s, I'm referring to them, not our people. I'm referring to them. We already had access to this material. We shouldn't have continued to be helping out a lot of these people. We made a mistake. We entrusted too many foreigners. Man, I understand that we some good-hearted people, and they got that term. They coined the term Southern hospitality because of us. But man, we made a mistake by being too friendly.
Rooftops and vehicles to simulate how a biological attack might spread, all to prepare for potential warfare against the Soviets.
Many of us been in the military and had top secret clearances. We know how it works.
We have died for America. We have fought for America.
You are a veteran.
I am United States Air Force veteran.
Dr. Starks, you're a veteran as well,
Yes, I am. I'm an Air Force veteran also.
Is there a sense of betrayal here?
Definitely.
A sense of betrayal.
They want to know if those secret tests have
deeper
anything
than
to
that.
do with what they're observing with their own eyes.
I lost my two older siblings to cancer. I lost a brother last month.
I've been diagnosed recently with a rare form of lymphoma.
I had cancer of the left kidney, had partial removal of my left kidney.
News Nation reached out to the Army for answers. They provided a one-page response. It says the Army's own Center for Health Promotion and Preventive Medicine investigated in 1994 and found inhalation exposure would not pose a health risk. They also cite later corroborating reviews, including a 1997 review by the National Research.
That the government, what makes you think that the Army is going to tell on the government, the U.S. government, U.S. Army? They're in it together. What makes you think that they're going to tell on each other? You reaching out to the U.S. Army for an answer. What you think they're going to tell on themselves?
Council. Perhaps they assumed we wouldn't read the NRC's 380-page report, but we did, and the Army's statement doesn't show the full picture. In that 1997 review, the National Research Council explicitly says repeated exposure to zinc cadmium sulfide can cause kidney or bone toxicity or lung cancer.
I use the National Research Council also.
And they admitted they couldn't fully
Hold on. Let me hear that again.
But we did, and the Army's statement doesn't show the full picture. In that 1997 review, the National Research Council explicitly says repeated exposure to zinc cadmium sulfide can cause kidney or bone toxicity or lung cancer if levels are high enough. And they admitted they couldn't fully assess the risk. Why? Because some Army records remain classified, it says, for national security reasons. More troubling, key Army exposure records were missing. And when the NRC asked the Army to supply them, the Army said it couldn't find them. Finally, the NRC considered conducting its own study, but concluded it wasn't feasible. In short, it did not test the site, collect samples, or test residents, and they didn't have access to all the data. Their review was based on what the Army gave them, and what the Army either could not find or withheld. The Army ends its statement to News Nation by saying, quote, none of the reports contained evidence of a radioactive component to the zinc cadmium sulfide dispersion tests. Residents say the secrecy and delays are no accident.
They're waiting us out.
They're waiting on all of us to die.
Basically.
that's
what
not
they
even
did
the
in
whole
Tulsa
story.
too.
As
Yeah, some of
residents
y'all
demand-
remember in Tulsa, that's what they were doing also. I mean, come on, y'all. We got to stop this. This
to
is
know
happening
what
too
else
often.
could have been in that spray.
They have not come clean with what was in there.
Do you believe that it was just zinc cadmium sulfide in that spray?
No.
We go to the source, a researcher who has spent decades declassifying government documents about these tests. Do you believe the U.S. government sprayed some kind of radioactive material on the residents of St. Louis?
I believe that they did.
And the government's surprising response to our request to declassify information.
I mean, what the hell?
Plus, renowned activist Aaron Brockovich weighs in. Do you think there's been a lie here, a cover-up here?
It sure looks that way.
The residents are asking for an apology from the government for being experimented on. They are asking for compensation, for health studies for themselves and their children. They're also asking for transparency. They want the government to release all the documents about the spraying.
Ain't that about to
So,
release
Elizabeth, tomorrow
nothing.
night on your show, we will go on a journey to try to declassify the one government document.
I'm telling y'all, and all they gonna do, and they gonna act like they're gonna be helping these elders. They're gonna create program after program. And all of the only people that are going to be able to benefit from these programs are the people that created the programs, which are going to be government agencies only. Many different branches, whatever they put in there, some type of task force. That's it. No. They're not about to do nothing. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to Trump, I don't think he's going to touch this. It's not up his alley to touch it. It's not up his. It's just not. Create a public record. It's already on public record. That ain't gonna do nothing. I'm gonna tell you right now. The only thing that's gonna we have to hold them responsible. As government to government. That's the only way that's going to be effective. We can't come to them as civilians or citizens or residents up under this government and complain. That can't work. The only people that we see that benefit from doing that are foreigners. Anytime they complain about something, they got to complain a while. But they ended up getting some type of benefit from the government. Ego is 2.2 miles away from Homer G. Phillips Hospital in St. Louis. I know because I'm St. Louis bred. Miss Harris, thank you for the super chat and shout out to St. Louis. Oh, I forgot my y'all may hear that sound effect, but I forgot all my effects are down because that hard drive is not back online. Thanks to the old hard drive I started looking stuff up on. That took out my other hard drive. I could see even if I try to restart that hard drive, let me do it anyway. I'm gonna do it one time. Okay. All right, so not everything came back. Yeah. All right, my hard drive came back, but not everything came back in OBS. So, in other words, I would have to close out OBS and reopen OBS in order for it to work. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I'm going to have to move that junk. 333. More positive affirmations for all of us. Positive prosperity. Positivity in general. It can be only in spiritual. If you try to do something, it'll be another Black Wall Street. I mean, I see what you're saying, but I don't think people should be afraid of something like that taking place. I really do think that we need to try. Whatever it is, we shouldn't just be sitting back continuing to allow this to happen. We need to make like a strong effort to move in silence and get this done. Everything that we need to do, we could agree to it publicly, what we need to do, but what we should be doing needs to be done behind the scenes quietly with no infiltration. Craig, I'll get to the video in a second. If you and being impatient, you can look this video up yourself or watch it. I'm here for the chat. I'm here for the live stream. I'm here to conversate with my people. If you don't like me conversating, you need to go to the next video, because you don't deter my live stream. Now, people will fight back now. Yeah, absolutely. They would. I agree. Absolutely. If nobody's going to be sitting on their hands anymore. That's not going to happen. But it needs to be done in silence. It needs to be done in the background. Yeah. I agree. It does need to, like, okay, once people see that it's already in play, they'll get on board with it. It's not like it won't happen. I really do believe that people will start moving in that direction as far as our people are concerned. They're going to move in that direction. But we should be good. We're going to be good. I like the direction that we're already in so far. So I know it's inevitable. It's going to come sooner or later. People are going to get on board with action. But I'm talking about the full thing of what I'm saying. Watch. Once they learn more about their history and about their family members or what happened to them here in America, they're going to get on board with that. They're going to notice, look, this government has never been for us. There was never a point where the government was for us. Never, not one time. Not once. Not this government. Not this 1871 government. Not that one. I was thinking about what they have infiltration, even with the Black Panthers, Malcolm X. Yeah. Well, I mean, they sent the government agencies into, that's what the COINTELPRO was about. They tried to stop any and all organizations that were about nationalism or nationalizing our people by creating their own nations. Yes, I agree. But that doesn't mean that we can't do it. They were jealous then, but that don't mean that will happen today. I don't want, like somebody brought up Tulsa, Oklahoma. I don't want any of that, distracting our people from. Okay, YouTube ain't like that. All right, so we know YouTube don't like that. I mean, see, you see what happened, right? Y'all saw that? How they kicked me off? Y'all saw that, right? It is what it is, man. Like, this is the reason why you know it's real. I'm not even, it's me talking. It's just me talking. I don't have the video playing. It's just me talking. But what am I talking about? And I'm not, and then sooner or later, I'm going to have to start disguising certain things that I'm saying by using my vocabulary more. Like, I'm going to have to. Because me trying to make it plain and simple, I might have to start busting out this vocabulary some more. They pissing me off now. I see like every time I make it straight plain, go straight forward, they get so upset. Oh, let's do something. But yeah, that's what they known for. I done got used to it now. I'm all right. We good. Who knows? That person that was in the chat was probably working for him. Just stop. I had to come back in. Oh, no, you good? My people, I just noticed the slow. What did you say? Look, that's a very good question. Well, I guess what I was talking about, what they were upset about, the reason why they stop me for a quick second right there was about the why it's so important for us to have our own when it comes to our own government, for sure, because we need representation out here. We need representation out here. We don't have that. And a lot of our people are suffering. The video that I'm showing right now is about the fog. Remember what all of the videos where people were talking about the fog? And how it got a lot of people sick. Well, this is one of the areas. It was an area in St. Louis. This video was from last month, where the government or the army came out and admitted that they were spraying that fog. And if you're just tuning in, they were also showing the pictures when they started this report earlier. They were showing pictures of demolishing a particular area, that same area in the 1970s, but they were stating that it has to deal with an experiment that the U.S. Army did back then that they were doing today. But they were making a correlation. But this time around, instead of, demolishing all the buildings where people can see, they just sent in a thick smoke and made everybody sick. So eventually they'll end up dying, a lot sooner because of what was inside of the fog. What was the chemicals, the ingredients of that. Yeah, and we played their stories, and all of them are Niji. And what I mean by Niji is our people of this landmass, and they were elders. So they were the vulnerable. They were hidden areas where the elders are at. They don't care if they were a veteran. It doesn't matter. Like, those elders, God bless their hearts, they were looking for the government to apologize and compensate them for this trouble and, being used as a guinea pig. It's unfortunate, but the elders got to understand this government wasn't for us, never was. Not one time, and they're not about to admit to anything. The army's not going to admit to anything because they work for the government. It's just not going to happen. Of course, they owed everything in the world for this. Like, they should be able to sue the government, but that's none of that is going to go in their favor based off of what the government is about, who the government is.
Document that a key researcher tells us she has never been able to expose. And we take the investigation to Erin Brockovich. For the residents still here, still fighting, the question is whether they will get any answers before it's too late. Elizabeth.
Well, they have a better chance of it with you on the case. Natasha Zuvez, thank you so much. In part one of our News Nation investigation last night, we uncovered a mysterious fog that once drifted through a St. Louis neighborhood, one that residents still remember decades later.
Wait, okay, so now because at first she wasn't really saying that. Now they're stating that this fog happened in the 70s and today. But see, in the beginning, hold on, what time, Sam? 7:24? In the beginning, I want y'all to see this. Those of y'all that didn't see this, look at how it started and watch the images that they're displaying. Okay? Real quick, hold on.
Now a News Nation exclusive investigation into a secret government experiment that was carried out in St. Louis. Residents tell us they still remember a mysterious fog. Children would run through it. Mothers would try and close their windows against it. For decades, they all had questions, and now we're seeking answers. The United States Army now admits that it sprayed a chemical that contained cadmium.
See? So we talking about the fog, right? And see how that's confusing? They showing you demolition work of a neighborhood at the same time.
A known carcinogen on a neighborhood of more than 10,000 people. Critics say this was done with no warning and no consent. Well, tonight we return to the site of that demolished neighborhood and speak with former residents who believe the government turned them into human test subjects. Although the Army admits that the test happened, it is not admitted to harming the residents.
I mean, if the test happened and they admitted to doing it and it harmed residents, why would you not admit to it? But the reason why I'm pointing that out is because now they're saying that it has to deal with the fog only in that second portion. when we saying what about the demolition? Why knock down like that? None of that. Like as far as these old buildings they say were here, right here. Hold on, I'm trying to go to it. Damn it, I'm passing it. All right, hold on, let me come back real quick.
It is for national security reasons. More troubling, key Army exposure records were missing. And when the NRC asked the Army to supply them, the Army said it couldn't.
All of those buildings demolished. You even see cars in the parking lot. People lived in these buildings. And there's no answer for this. Like, that's the reason why I said I believe that they used the fog so nobody could see what was happening. To demolish all of these, what I would consider project housing, while people were still there. They said over 10,000 people, right, were living in this area. Where are they? And that's why I said they were buried right up underneath the debris. So let me come up. And they're not going to admit to this. Like, that's the sad part. They just not. Okay, and this the second part.
Well, they have a better chance of it with you on the...
Like I was a guinea pig. Listen, we did...
Decades later.
It made...
Wait, hold on.
He uncovered a mysterious fog that once drifted through a St. Louis neighborhood, one that residents still remember decades later.
It made some of us have headaches, nausea, dizziness.
They didn't ask for our permission. We didn't ask.
But why would they need permission? Elder, I'm just saying, I understand, but just think about what you're saying. They didn't ask for our permission. Man, why would they? Oh, man, Elder. Why would they need your permission to do a test on you? Well, they know it's going to harm you because they know you're going to say no. Okay.
The dizziness.
They didn't ask for our permission. We didn't ask for them to spray us. My government used me like I was a guinea pig.
That's not your government.
They're waiting on all of us to die.
The government says it admits it sprayed a chemical that contained cadmium, a known carcinogen. Critics say without warning and without consent. They sprayed it on a neighborhood of more than 10,000 people, but now years later, residents are getting sick, some with rare forms of cancer, and they're asking what else might be hidden from them. Specifically, what else could have been in that spray?
They're not going to tell you.
News Nation's Natasha Zubas picks up the investigation from here.
We're on our way to meet with a researcher right now
We need
who's
a
dedicated
whistleblower.
her career, decades, to declassifying documents and trying to figure out what exactly happened here in the city of St. Louis and what exactly was in that spray. Across the country, the government conducted secret Cold War experiments in plain sight.
It was so secretive that we're really just now sort of digging out from underneath this to try to understand the scale of it.
And Dr. Lisa Martino-Taylor helped uncover many of them.
We know that they were giving radioactive cocktails to pregnant women. We know that they were feeding radioactive oatmeal to children in state schools. They've admitted to those things, and they won't release the material related to St. Louis.
It's true.
Wow.
American children in state-run institutions like the Fernald School were fed radioactive oatmeal as part of studies by MIT sponsored by the Atomic Energy Commission. You can see some of the documents Dr. Martino-Taylor worked to gather and declassify on MIT.
Oh, my goodness. 1953. Wow. And that should be a class action lawsuit. That should be... Oh my God, bro. The children, radioactive oatmeal. And a lot of them children was eating that in the morning because they wasn't getting breakfast at home, bro.
letterhead describing experiments on human subjects. The children, some of them orphans, were told they'd be joining a science club. They were promised a quart of milk a day, a trip to a baseball game, to the beach. A copy of the 1994 congressional hearing shows those children, now grown, describing being told the oatmeal was just vitamins and recalling the health problems that followed: lumps on my arms, my stomach. Pregnant women were also unknowingly given radioactive iron at top hospitals in Tennessee and California to study how radiation crossed the placenta, some later reporting miscarriages, illness, or birth defects. A class action lawsuit resulted in a settlement in the 90s.
Oh, okay, so they did.
The U.S. government sprayed some kind of radioactive material on
the
residents of St. Louis.
Okay, so they did get a class action lawsuit.
A class action lawsuit resulted in a settlement in the 90s.
$10.3 million settlement. 1998. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not satisfied. That should have been 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, 400 million, 500 million. That's 10 million. That ain't nothing, bruh. I'm not satisfied with that. I'm not satisfied with that. I'm upset.
Do you believe the U.S. government sprayed some kind of radioactive material on the residents of St. Louis?
I believe that they did. There's so much contextual evidence that points that way, and I spent years looking at this.
She says her research reveals the men who designed and oversaw the St. Louis experiments were some of the top experts in radioactive weapons.
We know that the people who designed the study, who oversaw the study, these were all the radiological weapons experts who were looking at open air radiological weapons.
One of them, Brigadier General William Creasy, was head of the Army Chemical Corps, the very branch leading America's secret radiological weapons program during the Cold War. He brought in a scientist named Philip Layton, who was the Army's leading authority on using radioactive particles in aerosol form, fog-like clouds designed to drift over enemy terrain. So the very man who designed this spraying experiment in St. Louis was an expert in using radioactive fog against the enemy.
Yes, he was the expert. The expert.
Then she says there's the timing.
They were looking for a city to test their offensive weapons program. They wanted to do it.
Why can't you just use
documents?
Damn, bro. I'm not. Oh my God, that pissed me off. I mean, you literally used innocent people who are needy as your test subjects, your guinea pigs, and they were not held responsible whatsoever.
St. Louis was their chosen city. That was their analog city to Moscow. And they wanted to do this in 1953. They showed up in 1953 in St. Louis.
But there's one document Dr. Martino Taylor has never been able to unearth. It's still classified. The Joint Quarterly Reports detail the spraying experiments, all written by Layton himself. The last one is missing. It's called Joint Quarterly Report 5, and we tried to get it. Our team filed a Freedom of Information Act request on May 5th of 2025. By law, the government must respond to a FOIA within 20 working days, but it's been more than 3 months with multiple follow-ups. Nothing. The silence is what's called a constructive denial, and renowned activist Erin Brockovich says it reminds her of cases where the truth was hidden. So, Erin, what is your reaction to this News Nation investigation? Did this shock even you?
Absolutely. I think my comment was, are we WTF the kidding me? I mean, what the hell? It's awful. I mean, the biggest thing, and I've learned in 30 years, is it's always the cover-up that enrages people, that hurts people. And I've learned that communities can handle the truth. What they don't handle and where they'll tip a scale is the lie. So this has been a cover up, and I think that modern day agencies owe it to them. The truth.
Do you think there's been a lie here, a cover up here?
It sure looks that way.
Our investigation now drawing attention from lawmakers, including Congressman Wesley Bell of Missouri.
When American citizens have been impacted and exposed
You ain't about to do
chemicals
nothing.
specifically because of the federal government, I think that we should do, as Democrats and Republicans, we should all do the right thing, make certain to make these folks whole again, get them the compensation they deserve and the treatment that they need and also deserve.
That's all that's going to be, is just creating programs where those politicians get paid, agencies get paid. That's not going to go back to the people.
Happen to you. Don't get duped that it can't happen to you. We didn't think it was going to happen to us. We was babies, kids. It can happen to you, too.
Representative Bell is now fighting to get Pruitt-Igoe included in the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act that would provide payouts to Americans who can prove they were exposed to radiation during the Cold War.
Wait, let me see that real quick. Hold on, let me get that myself.
Exposure Compensation Act that would provide payouts to Americans who can prove they were exposed to radiation during the Cold War. But for Pruitt-Igoe residents, there's a catch. Because key records remain classified, they haven't been able to prove what they were exposed to. What do you want everyone to know about what happened here?
The truth. Whatever the truth is, we want to know the truth. I don't think we get it now.
In the meantime, residents say all they can do is wait, hoping someone finally listens. When will you give up this fight?
Never. Till I'm cold and dead and buried in my grave.
That's all they're waiting for.
And Elizabeth, we asked the Army point blank, was there a radioactive component to that spray? It's interesting that they didn't just say no. Rather, they said, quote, none of the reports contained evidence of a radioactive component, pointing us to reports like a review by the National Research Council. But Elizabeth, a close read of that report shows even the NRC admitted they could not fully assess the risk of the spraying, because when they asked the Army for key records, the Army replied the documents were either classified or they were missing. The Army could not find them. And Elizabeth, I have to tell you, these residents feel the government is waiting them out. The people you just heard from last night and tonight are the ones who are still here, who are well enough to speak. One woman we were supposed to meet with died before we could get to her. She was suffering from multiple cancers. Her daughter asked us to keep going, and we will keep pushing for information, including those classified documents, Elizabeth.
All right, Natasha Zuva, stay on the case. Thank you so much for that investigation.
Okay, like I really am upset about this. Like, of course, like this is not going to be made national news. Like, this is my first time hearing about what happened in St. Louis. Like, even the 1973 portion of it. But I'm not surprised because they did this in so many different areas throughout the United States, predominantly where our people resided. And, this conversation needs to be had. 1, 2, trying to sue the government for this. I mean, it's good to try just to see, to get that narrative out and make them feel bad about what they did. But when, you only get one news station covering it and it's not being talked about on social media, and these are elders. A lot of people don't even, really care. Unfortunately, that's how they're going to feel because they like, oh, they about to, and that's not fair because that's how they treated the lady, the elder out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She was one of the children that heard and seen what happened in Tulsa in the Greenwood district when they were bombing people by Army planes. And she wanted them to be held responsible. And she was up there in age and they were really just bypassing her, and they just waiting for her to pass away. And same thing with these people, and same thing with a lot of our other elders that they got affected by these little radioactive experiments they have been doing for over the years, since the 50s. Y'all saying that she's still alive? Good. I forgot her name. I forgot her name. If you all say her name, I will say that. But she was fighting, and she did have people behind her. But the problem was, it was the governor that was stopping them. It got all the way up to the governor, and the governor was being real bigoted, real racist. He wasn't in support of that. Saying, oh, the taxpayer dollars. We shouldn't be spending taxpayer dollars on stuff like that. Like, here y'all go. Taxpayer dollars, trying to make it seem like it's coming out of the pockets of the people. Here y'all go. Nothing is transparent. You only basing that off of somebody else's word. They just taking money from you. They not taking your tax dollars and making it spend that money on other things. They really not. They really not. They getting a budget cut from the government. Oh, okay. So let's hand the government back the money that we just made so they could do everything else in the neighborhoods that we voting for. Right. But it's only going to be working for people that is designed to work for, not our people. But we got to pay taxes, but yet, we're not receiving the same benefits as other people. But we the ones that got to pay the tax. Right? We're not labeled as white on the census or anything. We're in a totally different tax bracket than anybody else who's a foreigner that comes into this country that doesn't work, that doesn't have to work as hard as we do in order for us just to, see a little bit of success. We got to work 20 times harder than any foreigner just for us to see a little bit of success. The foreigners get, they come over here and they immediately get a totally different line of credit. They're labeled white on the census. Now they have the option to either stay with their native name that they were given at birth, wherever they were located, or they could go with an Americanized name. Some of them could be a Semite, and that Semite doesn't have to pay for any interest on a loan, whether if it's a business loan, a car loan, a house loan. That's called Heater Iska. Just in case people don't know that. You can't charge a Jew interest when a Jew asks for a loan. All they have to do is ask for the loan, and that bank that bank turns into their investor at that point. No interest is charged. This been happening for years. Heater Iska, HETER ISKA. I'm talking about them East Indians get that benefit, and now, and of course the white folks get that benefit, and now also don't forget that they're coming over here seeking asylum, so they get added benefits by the way of the Immigration Act. They don't have to carry around a Social Security card. They immediately are able to get business loans so they can start up a business. They could get the $1 million homes. I see them. But yet we the ones being taxed the hardest, and we ain't receiving no benefit from that. But they collecting our taxpaying, so-called taxpayer dollars, right? They collecting our money, right? But we ain't even putting it back into our own communities neither. We going out and spending it elsewhere. Yeah, we got the mom and pop stores that deal with we used to have the mom and pop stores that used to be like selling records, selling CDs, selling tapes. Now we barely even got our own people in our communities now. Barely. I'm talking about maybe 1 or 2 stores owned by our own people. But not only could our people cook, not only could our people, do cosmetology work, and as far as barbershops and salons and stuff like that, our people need to be everywhere. We need to be owning drugstores. We need to be owning grocery stores, laundromats. Like this the shit that I'm talking about that we used to have. Gas stations. We could get rid of them fast food restaurants to open up our own food chains within our communities. We could be supporting each other. Do you know it's a lot of, for example, speaking of cosmetology, do y'all know that there's a lot of companies right now that are that used to be black owned, so-called black owned, they have now given up their ownership to foreigners. Like they will be considered, the founder of that company. What's the name of that company? Black and Beauty. What's the name of that hair company, ladies? That y'all used to go into the store and grab. It was Black and Lovely. Black and Lovely, right? I think that's what it was called. But it used to be owned by a Niji woman. But now it's so all of these foreign companies are owning all of them products inside of them salons. Yeah, Dark and Lovely. Yep. Inside of them salons. It's a lot of them now, y'all. If you look this up, all of them have been sold. All of them. Every single one of them. I think it's only like, hold on, let me not say every single one of them. I think it's only like 1 or 2 left that are owned by our people. And I did put that to the side. I just don't have that ready at this very moment, but I could bring that back up during the next live stream for sure. But yeah, a lot of them have been sold. And I saw that report. And when I seen that report, I hurried up and moved that over. I was like, oh, damn, that's crazy. All of them are being sold off now. I mean, see, these people are coming over here, yeah, receiving benefits, but all of this fight is about ownership. They want ownership. Like, why do our communities got to be ran down? Is it our own people running down our communities? I don't think so. I think the majority of that stuff is done on purpose. Like, why don't we have our own cable company? Why don't we have our own cell phone provider company? Why don't we have our own internet provider company? What is going on? Why are we not in those industries? Why are we still being the player on the football team, the coach on the football team, and not even the owner of the football team? I see, Magic Johnson, partial owner of Washington Commanders. But that's it. We ain't got no ownership over anything that we doing. But yet we thinking we making money. And that's it. That's what be pissing me off about some of these so-called celebrities too. It's almost like they got themselves right and that was it. Make cash money though. And ain't think about this. Ain't think about nothing like this. And you got extra money. Nowadays, 5 million is cool. But if you got 7 million, you got extra. Right? 7 million or more, you definitely got enough to take care of a community. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We can single-handedly pull our people out of poverty right now. Giving back by literally taking ownership. Now, I'm not saying that all celebrities are like that, but because I didn't see, so-called celebrities reach back and start, buying up, their old communities and, and bringing them up. Like I heard Birdman did a bunch of that, with his money that he made with Cash Money Records, as an example. Got a lot of property in New Orleans and fixed it up. I'd have seen the videos and stuff like that. I'd have seen a few other people, and I saw Young Thug was getting ready to do that for Georgia too. And then he locked him up. But, it is what it is. They did the same thing for a couple of people. And see, that's another thing. We don't got control over that industry neither. The music industry, the any arts and entertainment industry, we don't have control over. We need, I mean by way of ownership. And that's holding us up. Like the music people out there, like when they really into the music, And, they try to make it seem like everything cool, but it's not. Because streaming took over and they getting less than pennies for their streams. And the DPS, the digital service provider companies, like the platforms, like Apple Music and all the rest of that, they are making endless amounts of money. Warner Brothers, Universal Music, like these are the ones that need to be held accountable or moved away. Like we need to push them out the way. Yeah, they got the money to get the big lawyers and stuff like that, but if all of us come together at one time, they're not gonna be able to handle all of that. That's gonna be too much pressure on one company and its lawyer or two lawyers. They gotta be moved out the way. Now, I know some of y'all gonna bring up the fact that Jay-Z and Irv Gotti, he dead now, but it was, Jay-Z, Irv Gotti, and a couple other people, Jay Prince and Master P, if I'm not mistaken, all of them were about to come together and create their own distribution company. And then that's where they started giving all of them trouble at the same time. It was locking up Jay Prince or harassing him, something like that, doing the same thing with all the rest of them. Master P, all of them got hit at one time when they was trying to do their own distribution. It was actually, but I believe the mistake that was made was the fact that they allowed that word to get around. I believe that what they should have did was did it silently without saying anything. Like the only people that should have been in those meetings were 4 people, them 4 people, or however many it was, 5 people. It could have been 5 people. It should have just been them only, right? Trade those conversations and plans and goals, like knock that shit out right there, right? And come out of there and don't state nothing. Like when Malcolm X, for example, when Malcolm X and Martin Luther King got together, we still don't know what was being discussed. We won't ever know what was being discussed, and that's what I'm talking about. We can only make assumptions. We knew it was going to move forward and in progress as far as unity is concerned, based off of the interviews that they gave after the fact when they exited the meeting and the media was there. They gave us hints, but it wasn't to the point where we knew exactly what the goal was. So I want to state all that to say this, like, if you're being tired or if you're tired of being sick and tired and you want to do something about it, I want to hear from you. I want to give them one of the email addresses, Blue. Which email address I want to give them? Because I want to hear from them. Like if you want to do something about this, like if you know that you could do something about this, you already have a goal or you have a plan written down, you got this mapped out, it's just not a thought. I don't want you to be emailing me your thoughts on that note. Like an authentic plan, like something that's already mapped out, like where there's an end result, like something. And, you just need to come together with like-minded people on that note. I want you to contact us. Either, join the 13% community server. It's free. You see that link right there that says discord.gg/13%. Or, okay, you want them to use that email? Okay, and then 13% entries at gmail.com. 13% entries is in the chat at gmail.com. And be for real, man. I'm telling you, don't flood it with, with your thoughts. Like I really want you to put more than just thought into it. Like this got to be like an action plan. As far as what you could bring or what you could add, or you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to say everything, but if you want to get with the like-minded people in general, even if you don't have an idea at this very moment, you still can. You could join our server. It's free. 13%. So it's discord.gg/13 and the word %. And the link is in the chat. And that, it's over 13,000 people in there. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's just time. Like, especially right now, it's time for us to get together on that note and start putting in a course of action on a lot of things, not just against what the government is doing and, oh, let's go march, or let's go get together and start screaming and yelling and holding up signs. And we did all that already. We did that so much that that's not going to make a difference. And we know it's not going to make a difference. That's not going to do a goddamn thing. Okay? And I know some of y'all see the fact that they got their army doing all this stuff in the neighborhoods, targeting our own people. And some of y'all like, well, Dane, what could we do? They got an army. We don't got no army. Yes, we do. The Creator ain't going to ever put us through something that we cannot handle. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. And you think it's impossible? We don't need that type of attitude. You can leave that at the door. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. Just know it's going to happen. But you want to surround yourself with the right people, the right positive-minded people. That's why I said join the 13% community server. And I'm not asking for a dime. I'm just telling you, you got like-minded people online. And we in every state. I don't get paid a goddamn thing from that. I'm telling you, I think it would be beneficial for all of us, so we all go get eventually paid from that. Okay? That's how I know it's going to happen. We all going to be able to benefit from that. But, yeah. I'm going to leave it on that note. I'm going to leave it on that note. And I'm probably going to be doing this again, probably, if not tomorrow, then the next day. But, you know, maybe I'll try again a little earlier, you know, see how YouTube going to act. It seemed like they just, you know, every time I try to get deep into a topic and I'm in the zone and they know I'm about to probably go a little further, or I probably already went a little further, they'll throw something up in there and shake it up. But, you know, I mean, y'all see all of that. So just don't think that I'm sitting back just allowing that to happen. I done reported it to them and called them out on it, screenshotted it, recorded it, and all of that. Video recorded it, played it in the meetings. You know, they denying it and all the rest of that. You know, they playing games. They've been playing games, but they won't ever, just like the government, they won't ever admit to their wrongdoings. So what do we got to do? Like, I wish I had it to a point where I could create another YouTube. I wish I did. I wish I had those type of resources. Maybe one day. That would be amazing. I mean, come on. We was the trendsetters of this social media shit anyway. What was Black Planet? Black Planet was around before MySpace was popular. They knew what they were doing. They knew they needed us to set the trends. TikTok too. Everybody copying our dance moves. Man, please, y'all. We saving these companies. Mercedes-Benz, Cadillac, Lincoln, all the rest of them. We saving them, man. Mercedes ain't cut no check yet. We saving them. Yeah, the fashion world also, the Gucci, the Birkins, all that. We saving them. Why can't we do that for our people? We can. And we will. I strongly believe in that. And I know none of my effects working. Y'all lucky on that note, because I sure would have played, you know, I can't even play. Oh, yeah, my other videos ain't going to work neither, huh? Nope. Yeah, them videos ain't
Set it on fire.
But fire, at least my effects work.
It's Dane Calloway.
Yeah. I know what I'm going to do, though. I'm going to get that new. I'm going to get a new one. I'm about to order that and move that old one over to a new one so it could be better. Yeah, that one, I overloaded that old hard drive, that old 16 terabyte hard drive. I filled that thing up and it's in the red now. So every time I use that junk, it knock everything out. It knock everything out that I got hooked up because that one is the oldest one. But it's time. I'm gonna have to back that one up and put it on a new hard drive, man. Everything should be worked out after that. But I appreciate y'all coming out. We probably gonna do this again either tomorrow or the next day. Hopefully we ain't gonna have no issues then. We may even have guests because I want to do the open panel discussion, but I'm trying to wait till a time when I go live, like about 6 or 7 in the evening, to do the open panel. So hopefully that could be tomorrow. So regardless, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day because I know it's late for some of y'all. I appreciate y'all that stuck with me and during the second half of the live stream, the first half also, all of y'all that showed up, showed out, clicked the like button, shared the video. Those of y'all that donated, I appreciate that as well. Shout out to y'all that that came in and did the super chats, came in and dropped the gifted members as well. Those of you that became members too, shout out to the new members. Shout out to all of y'all.
It's
man.
Dane Calloway.
And I meant to say
OCO, Freethinkers.
That's what I meant to hear. But yeah, don't forget, we popping out now.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas.
Don't forget that. We definitely are popping out now, y'all. We are really not playing. We about to be hitting the road and we about to be popping out, man. So y'all can go ahead and turn up with me. We're gonna have fun and it's gonna be educational, of course. And I'll make the announcements when it gets closer to that time. And if you want to have the announcements earlier than that, please join the 13% community server. Once again, it's free. I'm not asking for a goddamn thing. What you doing there is your business. Nah, but I'm going to be in there too. I do be going live in there. We communicate. Sometimes I pop up in the video chats as well. Then you get to talk with me one-on-one. I'm not playing. This is not me selling you anything. I'm telling you the truth is what really happened. Sometimes, I put, some pictures up in there to let the ladies know I still got, you know what I'm saying? I just put, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, nah, it's over 13,000 people in there now. It's over 13,000 people in there. But yeah, man. Right.
Okay, I'm reloaded.
All right, so let's get up out of here, man. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and I will see y'all either tomorrow or the next day. Enjoy the rest of your days ahead. If I don't see you anytime this week, hopefully you do come back, and I do see you. But yeah, make sure you have blessed ones, and kiss and hug the babies for me. Tell them I love them too. Kiss and hug the elders, your family. Tell them I love them too. We doing this for our people, man. We doing this for our people. Don't forget that. We owe it to us. We don't owe it to nobody else. Y'all take care. I'm going to see y'all either tomorrow or the next day. Why don't?